On the last episode of Truly Bedrock, we used thousands of TNT to excavate a massive hole beneath our industrial tower. Then we went over to Silent's base and used a lot more TNT to dig another hole all the way down to Bedrock using a fancy TNT machine he built. And then we fixed our Trident Killer and collection system for the gold farm. But that's left us with a bit of a weird shaped building. So on today's episode, we're going to fill in all of this bottom bit here and actually get the building complete. And we're actually going to add a couple more farms. Yes, I know, I can't help myself. And for these farms, I'm going to need more of these guys. Are they still over here dancing? They certainly are. Excellent. So what we're going to be doing is farming carrots and potatoes over here because we can sell those for emeralds with our farmers just over the other building there. And that's going to mean that we can get a lot more emeralds in because you can never have too many emeralds. So I think what I'm going to do is actually put 4 farms in this area here. I might do them a little bit higher than where we're currently standing, but we're going to have 4 different sections for it. We're going to have a collection, of course, as well. But I will probably use this bottom floor just for storage, and then we'll put the farms just above. But let's get some blocks and start planning, shall we? Just before we make a start on that, however, I want to bring you over here because we have made more progress. As you can see, look how close we are. We don't have much left to do. I actually did a little bit by hand because I ran out of deep slate again. And don't worry, I didn't do all of this by hand. That would have taken me weeks. But I did do a decent chunk of it, and we should have enough deep slate to keep us going for quite a while. But as you can see, this space is, yeah, it's pretty huge, and it's not getting any smaller. But we do still need to do this bit here, which means I'm hoping that by the end of this episode, we'll have enough TNT to do one final bombing run and get rid of most of the rest of this. And then it's just a case of tidying up the last few little bits, and of course, getting the concrete in. Because I do want to carry on this sort of void effect all the way down to the bottom, and then we're going to be discussing what we're actually doing with the hole that we've created here. I do finally have a plan. But we'll come back to that later. For now, we need to go grab some stuff and things so we can build those new farms. Something else we've also been working on is our mega base area. We've actually been doing a few plans over here. I wasn't going to show this, but I just flew over and I thought, well, let's give you a little teaser. If you do actually want to see the progress of this as we do it, then do check out the stream at twitch.tv/Mr. Beardstone. But as you can see, we're making progress in planning out where the city's going to go. But as I said, I'm not going to go into too much detail on that. We're going to save all the ins and outs of that for a future episode. But if you do want a little sneak peek of what we're up to over here, then as I say, do check out the stream. But enough about that. We need to grab a bunch of chests, we're going to need a bunch of grass, and then we're going to need a bunch of villagers. Back over here at Tower 2, I think the first thing I want to tackle for this is actually going to be the storage. And for that, I think I want to make use of this column in the middle here, because this was our original elevator for getting up and down, but we really don't need it anymore. So I'm wondering if we can possibly utilize that for storing carrots and potatoes. And I think we can probably do something to what we did with the iron farm on the other side and just put some chests down here. We'll have hopper lines coming directly from the farms. We won't even need to worry about dispensers and water streams that way. Although in saying that, I do need to remove this water stream here before we can do anything. But that's an easy enough thing to do. And I think in theory, I should be able to get 16 chests in here in total. And then we can just run hoppers into the back of them. Let's just make a bit more space above us and get these hoppers in, and then we can start thinking about how we're actually going to make the farms work. So hoppers in the back of those, in the back of those, same with those, and lastly with those. Perfect. And now we can just put the extra chests on the front. And that should give us more than enough storage. So we need to head up a level. Let's go use our wonderful bubblevator. And speaking of the bubblevator, on the last video, I did actually have someone ask how it was that we made this. Could I do a tutorial on it? But the thing is, I don't really do tutorials. It's not really something I've done before, and it's such a small little thing. It probably wouldn't make a good video anyway. I mean, maybe I'll do it as a short sometime. However, I'm not going to leave you in the lurch, so I'm going to quickly show how that's made. Let's hop over into Creative World. So if ever you've wanted a multi-floor bubblevator that doesn't take up too much space, this is definitely the way to do it. So if you jump in here, it will start to push you up, press the button, and it will release you from floor to floor. Simple as that. And to build it is, well, you can see here, it's very, very straightforward. So we start out just building a normal bubble column, and the important block is this one here. That must be a solid block because that needs to be able to transmit a redstone signal. So although this works in Bedrock, I'm not sure the same thing would work in Java because I'm not sure buttons actually hold back water. I can't remember off the top of my head. But if we put these bits in and put some water into the vator there, and just quickly get a little bit on top as well. So to convert your basic bubblevator into one with a lift system, it really is very straightforward. You only need 4 or 5 components. The first thing to do is to replace that block there with a soul sand. Then we need to put a sticky piston that's going to be attached to that and a block next to it. It is literally as simple as that, with just a redstone dot and a redstone torch. That is it. As simple as that. And the way this works is, of course, when you get pushed up the tube, this will stop your progress and you'll be stuck there. However, when you press the button, although it doesn't create a water source there, it does have enough momentum to push you through into the next tube. And then as soon as it closes again, it will put the bubbles back and continue on your journey. And you can actually get away with having a drop chute on the side as well. So if we were to do something like this and just put buttons here, we can then drop down on this side and have it so we can drop down and go up in the same thin column. Although you're definitely going to want to put water at the bottom if it's a tall lift. And there we go, simple as that. Cheeky little tutorial with Beardstone. Don't expect them often. So back over here in the real world, let's actually use our bubblevator to go up to the next floor and get a few more hoppers in so we can start building these farms. So for each farm, we're going to have a villager standing on this spot, and we're going to need to divide them up like so. We also need to make sure that we are staying within the chunks, but luckily this whole thing is chunk aligned, so that's easy enough to do. And we're going to make 4 separate compounds, so to speak. So for the actual collection systems, we just need something as simple as that. And we're going to have a villager here who's going to be a starving, hungry villager. And hopefully the farmer will throw their goods towards him. We'll be able to collect them, and that'll be that. We just got to do that in 4 different corners. In fact, I think what I might do is actually build up the first farm here completely and start bringing over a couple of villagers, just so we can make sure it's working before we get too carried away. In theory, we should be able to turn this entire chunk into a farm, and it has occurred to me, I actually need to raise those up a level, and I can hear lots of mobs. I have a feeling I might have a slight mob problem down here. Are they in here? Yes, there they are. Okay, they're all holding stuff. That would be the problem. Let's quickly dispose of these dudes, shall we? Don't need them down here causing a racket. Oh, look at this dude. He's all dressed up. How did you get hold of a minecart? Problem solved. Let's get the rest of this dirt in. Although I am also going to need to figure out exactly where to put the water on these. So those 4 locations should be enough to keep this entire thing hydrated. So let's get some of these in. And I do actually need to raise these hoppers up a little bit, so let's quickly do this. And we also need to build up the sides, so I think for now I'm just going to put this down, and then we'll probably just use glass to go all around the edges, but we're going to need to give it a bit of structure. So maybe on this central bit we should actually turn those into these solid blocks. We should probably do the same on here as well. And then we'll put glass around the edge like this, which should suit just nicely. And of course, we're going to need some light in here too. So I think what I might do is just do those like that. And we need to make sure that the villagers can't jump up on these, because if they do that, then they can jump down and damage the crops. And although they'll plant them, they won't actually hoe the ground itself. Speaking of which, neither can I, because I didn't bring my hoe with me. Easily rectified, so let's quickly hoe all this land and make sure it's going to get hydrated. I think I've counted correctly, so it should be fine. And while I'm doing this, this farm here is actually based off of what Silent Whisperer did in a recent video, so if you do want to find out more about the mechanics and why things work and all that jazz, then please do go check out Silent's video. I've linked to that in the description. But I did try to sort one out myself, and the main problem I had was the placement of the villagers. I actually put the villager sort of off to one of the sides in a back wall, and I shouldn't really have jumped there. And what that meant was that the line of sight or something wasn't being seen by the farmer villager, so he was a bit, you know, sometimes he'd feed him, sometimes he'd let him starve. So by putting him actually inside the compound there, that should solve the issue. At least according to Silent's video. Although that does remind me, I also need to put fence posts there and there. Not entirely sure why, but apparently that's the thing too. But with that, the farm is ready. We just need to get some villagers in, which shouldn't be too bad because they're just having a rave over there. Although I'm probably going to need a few more. Yeah, maybe let's go breed some villagers first and just make sure we've got enough. So it has actually occurred to me we need to make sure that the villagers we put in the farm have completely empty inventories, which means we're going to need to kind of adjust the villager breeder a little bit, or in fact maybe just grab 2 of these villagers out, bring them over here, and then start moving the babies around, just sort of actually produce them as we need them. We need to make very, very sure that the inventories are empty though, because otherwise they might start farming the wrong thing if they're a farmer, or if they're the guy that's just standing in the corner if they have any type of food in their inventory whatsoever, then the farm won't work. So I guess it's time to grab some rail and build a new line over there somewhere. This is not going to be fun. I hate moving villagers. I think I'm all prepped and ready, and what I've done is I've just built a small breeding chamber over here for the villagers. I don't really know if it's going to work or not, but my theory is even if the babies don't decide to walk out here once they've been born, I can just wash them out with a bucket of water. So it shouldn't really be an issue, but I'm hoping this will allow us to get some clean villagers, so to speak, with nothing in their inventory to put over here. Something else that has occurred to me is that these blocks here were actually going to be blocking line of sight, so we do need to make sure we lift these up, and this way we can still prevent the villagers jumping on the lights, but we don't block his line of sight to the one in the corner, and that should make sure the farm is continually working. So let's see if we can make this do what we want it to do. Let's send over a couple of villagers and hope for the best, I guess. And the first one we get is indeed a baby villager. That's probably not really what we wanted, and that one didn't even pick one up. And the second dude, there we go. No. I saw ya. Oh no, I've sent him back anyway. It's fine. He'll come back in a minute. Let's get this dude situated first. Let's go find out where matey boy went. Here he is. Get back on the track, you. And there we go. We have our 2 villagers in here. We just need to wait for those dudes to grow up now. And once they're older, we can, of course, make more villagers. But I guess while we're waiting for them to grow up, I can probably sort out a couple more of these farm modules. We've managed to get another 2 farms built up, and in the meantime, our villagers have grown up, which is excellent news. This is exactly what we wanted. But now we need them to breed. Let's give these dudes some bread. Hopefully that's going to give us 4 villagers, and I don't know if the babies are going to choose to run through this hole or if I'm going to have to wash them out, but either way, this should still get the job done. Perfect. They did literally just run straight out, straight into the... That is amazing. Excellent. Again, is this one going to do the same? Come on, this way. This way. Excellent. So what I'm actually going to do is steal one of these right away. Nope, we missed. Let's try that again. Excellent, there we go. He should go straight into his new home over here. We'll make sure he definitely can't get out for now, and we should just be able to grab that minecart back and leave him in there till he grows up. But that's the first villager in place. So let's try and get one in that spot over there as well, shall we? And number 2 is in, and then we'll put one in the actual farm itself, and that should be everything we need for at least this first one. We just need to wait for these dudes to grow up now. My little dudes are all grown up, and now it's time to give them jobs. We actually need to give all 8 of them jobs, and to be honest, it really doesn't matter what workstation they connect to as long as they all grab a job. And then I'm going to trade with each of them and just make sure... Wait a sec, don't I need to put these on the same... No, I don't. Look at that. So I'm going to trade with all of them and just lock them in so they're always going to be farmers. And this dude, I'm going to chuck him a bunch of carrots. There you go, my friend. Enjoy. Happy planting. And this dude should start planting carrots. In theory. Why are you not planting carrots? Plant them. Okay, right, let's do another one and see what this dude's up to. So buy some things and then give him some potatoes. They don't seem to be doing their work. Oh, there we go. He's started. He's started. Yes. That's it, my friend. Do your job. Brilliant. And this guy started planting, and so's this one. Excellent, excellent. Right, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. So now, what I can do is remove all of these workstations. We don't actually need these anymore. And there we go. I think what we need to do now is just wait for them to do lots and lots of farming. They're going to fill up their inventories, and once their inventories are full, they should try and feed these dudes in the corners. At least that's the hope. So what I'm going to do is probably just go AFK here for a little while. I wonder if I can get a good shot here and see the farmers working while we do so. We've had the farm running for a little over an hour. As you can see, all the fields are fully planted, and I think they've been dropping stuff off at the villagers. I'm not entirely sure, but we're going to go and check, and hopefully we're going to have some potatoes and carrots in our chests. And that we do. Wow, okay, so each one of these columns is actually linked up to just one farm. So it's actually producing loads. Oh my. So that's actually producing a lot more than I was expecting. But the good news is the farms work. Excellent. Now we know the farms work, we can actually sort out the access a little bit better. So let's do this so we can actually get up on top of the farms. And what I want to do is actually put a roof on them because we need to make sure that our villagers are protected from anything bad that might try and eat them. Much better. Now all of our villagers are safe and sound. They're not going to get eaten by anything and they're going to continue to produce all the potatoes and carrots we could possibly want, which is also going to help us get more emeralds from our villagers over there. While we've been doing this, I have, however, come up with an idea of what we can do with this space here, but we're going to have to save that for a future episode because we're running out of time and I haven't actually been able to even get the sides of this building on yet. But no worries, we can do that in future. And as a final update, I know you all want to know, yes, we have in fact finished clearing out the last little bit of stone that was down here. So all the deep slate's gone, we're down to the level we want to be. It's dark and dangerous and I'm going to run away a little bit. And I've also marked out these white wall blocks. That is actually where the slime chunks are. So we have 6 slime chunks down here. I don't know if we're actually going to use any of them, but the fact that we know they're there, they exist, and we can make use of them is a good thing. But that's all we've got time for today, so I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope you like the farms. It's literally added 4 blocks to it. I said we were going to get this bit finished. Ah!